You need to know the things that are really important to you, like the top 5 things that you cannot deal with, that you need corrected. Go ahead and set those conflicts and deal with them. But if there's smaller things like there were some crumbs left on the counter or things that just are a little annoying but something you can live with, you need to know where you can let these things go. Hi, I'm Lisa from AmericanAuPairHostMom. I started my channel because I love the au pair program. As a host mom, it's absolutely changed my life for the better by 300%. And therefore, I want all the other host families to know about this program and to have tips on how to make your year the very best it can be. The way and the most important thing and theme I've seen as I'm telling my stories is communication. Communication's key. You need to be able to understand how to communicate effectively with your au pair during the interview process and even more importantly throughout the year to ensure that you will have a great experience. So who am I to talk to you about this? Not only am I a host mom, but I have been housing young college students for a very long time. For about 18, 19 years now, I have welcomed college students into my home. I have housed not only Americans, but also college students from around the world. We've had people from Portugal, China, India, Brazil, Venezuela, Colombia, all over. So I have seen during this time that although there are culture differences and you need to understand this and deal with this, there's also just that fact that you are dealing with young adults. And although they are capable and can be responsible and make great choices, they're also still learning about themselves and the world and how to handle the communication aspect. So you as the host family need to take the lead in ensuring that communication is upfront and important and that it occurs. So with that said, let's get into it. I have 6 top steps for you on how to communicate and to ensure that that communication will be effective throughout your year and give you a great foundation to start with. So number 1, you need to go ahead and know yours and your family's personality and who you're looking for. So this is something you need to do before you even pick your au pair, and you need to then emphasize what you're looking for and know how to find it during the interview process. So the first step is when you make your profile on AuPairWorld, make it very detailed. You want to have all the detail laid out before you even start discussion. Not every au pair will be a fit for your family. You're looking for the right fit, which means they are going to be amenable to your schedule. They're going to understand what your personality types are. Are you morning people, night people? Are you sporty people, outdoor people, movie people? Whatever it is, just knowing this and laying it all out there is much more likely to attract the right au pair to your family. So that's the first thing. And once you know that, you really want to make sure you interview for it well. I'd highly recommend that you go ahead and interview your future au pair at least 3 times and ask questions several times in several different ways. Remember that this is not their native language that they're interviewing in, so maybe several smaller interviews in which you're asking these questions, maybe a few through writing, few through video could all be helpful. The other thing besides making a detailed profile, you definitely want to make a detailed handbook. And on my channel, I have lots of information and videos, not only on making a handbook, but also on interviewing and great questions to ask. So check that out. The handbook should be very detailed, giving all that profile information. But then when they are in your house, it's also going to be a great guide for onboarding and letting them know what to expect and how to deal with things and various contact information. All of that should be in there. Just the more, the better. Number 2, you need to give grace to your au pair. So think about this. Your au pair is traveling all the way to the other side of the world to be with you. They've left their family and friends behind, and they're now in a strange place that they've never been, they don't understand, and it's a big learning experience for a young person. So just keep this in mind. Have empathy, have a lot of it, especially at the beginning. So when you see them making mistakes or not getting things right, just let them know that you're okay with it, that you see that this isn't right or that they've made a mistake and that you want them to improve. Definitely let them know how they can do better, but let them know you understand and that you appreciate their effort and that you know that they're learning. The next thing is number 3, you want to understand, and this gets to the empathy again, all the fears or concerns that many au pairs have. And if you haven't already done it, I definitely suggest Googling and listening to various au pair horror stories. This is a great lesson in what not to do as a host family, but knowing what au pairs already fear and already have heard about is a great way for you to not only not do it, but to be empathetic to what they may be thinking about. So some of those concerns, we already talked about the language and the fact that this is not their native language. They probably are afraid of looking stupid and not understanding. So be cognizant of that. Other things are they're possibly afraid of being sent home early. They had a dream to come to your country, experience and learn your culture. And when they get there and maybe it's not all exactly what they thought or they're not performing quite right, they're afraid that you might kick them out on the street and they'll have nowhere to go. And that's a very scary thought for any young person, but particularly for one that doesn't live in your country and doesn't understand your culture. So think about that. Another thing is not knowing how to discipline your children. Although many au pairs have a lot of great experience in babysitting and childcare, it's very different when you're living with host kids 24/7 and you're seeing all sides of them. Us parents know that although we love our kids and they're great, they have their moments and discipline is needed. But discipline can vary throughout cultures and even family by family within one country. You need to have been upfront and clear with how you discipline and reinforce that to your au pair so they know what options they have. Like, can they do timeouts or take away privileges, things like that. Or maybe there's reward systems to encourage good behavior, but help them start to learn this. They also fear asking for their weekly stipend or pocket money. It's very uncomfortable for them because you are the authority figure. Not only are you their boss, but they live in your home. So it gets back to that fear of being kicked out. And us host parents just get busy. We forget. So I find it very helpful to put a reminder weekly on my calendar. Definitely having my au pair have a bank account that I can do direct deposit right into can also help you. So just be cognizant that they feel uncomfortable asking for that, but they don't have a lot of money, so it's very important. Also, any reimbursements that they may have to do to you can also be uncomfortable. So be clear up front how you'll handle that reimbursement. If you're going to give them a credit card or if you're going to give them money ahead of time or if you need to see receipts, whatever it is, and be asking for this so that they don't have to bring it up. Other fears they have are setting the boundaries. They don't want to say no. They're trying to impress you. So in their time off, they may feel pressured to play with the children, or if the children are invading their room, it's not letting them recharge. So you as the host parent need to help set these boundaries. Go ahead and let your kids know ahead of time that the au pair has time off and they need to respect it. And then lastly, asking for vacation. This is another sticking point. They're trying to impress you, and yet as they start to settle in the country and get their legs and meet people, they're starting to make plans. So I like to hit up front what my rules of vacation are, which normally I do emphasize that we have certain vacations planned throughout the year. I let them know those dates and that they can either join us or take their own, but I like it to coincide. I also let them know if something else comes up and they need some other time off. I'm okay with this, but I just need some warning, a 1 to 2 week warning. So have all those conversations up front to try to put their minds at ease to these fears. This brings us now to number 4. Let your au pair know that you respect their decision, that you are behind them, and you're going to help reinforce this with the children. Specifically, what I'm talking about here is that if you see your au pair discipline or say something to your kids that you don't agree with, don't correct them in front of the kids. This really undermines them, embarrasses them, and it's just not good for anybody. So instead, when the kids aren't around, pull them aside and say, hey, I saw that you said this with the children. You did this discipline in a certain way, but in this family, this is how we handle it. I understand you didn't know that. This is how I'd like it done in the future. And then you'll move on from there, and hopefully it will continue to improve. But you really need to reinforce their authority with the kids. So make sure that's done. Ask how they are doing, and give them feedback. Again, be positive and let them know that you understand, but let them also know how they can continue to do better. And let them know that they have a voice. Constantly let them, ask them, how are you doing? Are there things that could be better? How could we improve to help you do a better job and be more happy here? All of that is going to let them know that it's okay for them to be honest with you, which is absolutely what you want. Number 5, this brings us to face conflict. No one likes conflict. No one likes bringing up things that you aren't or they aren't happy with. However, what I've learned over the years is what may bother me a little bit, if I don't bring that up, things get worse. The person doesn't know and they get even worse, and all of us get more annoyed. And by the time you bring it up, things explode. Don't let that happen. If you see something that does bother you, even though you're like, oh, maybe that was a one-time thing, it'll get better, say something. And if you're going to say something, go ahead and set a time to talk about it. Let your au pair know that there's something you'd like to talk about, that it's not a big deal, so that they aren't sitting there worrying that you're going to kick them out or something like that. But that you do have something to talk about, and set a time that is appropriate for everybody. A time, maybe you offer a few times so you don't go over their plans. Maybe they're planning to go out tonight, so tonight's not a good night. But set out a few different times in a location that works for everybody, and that maybe your children are in bed so that they won't hear this conversation. And then once you're in that place and time, lay out how or what you saw that was not good. Let them know how they can do better. And if you need to change something, come up with a few recommendations, 2 or 3 different ways that you might resolve this. And that way your au pair doesn't feel trapped into something that they're not comfortable with. You can let them know that you are open to compromise in figuring out how to fix this. And number 6, choose your battles. Although we just talked about not letting things fester and get really bad, you need to know the things that are really important to you, like the top 5 things that you cannot deal with, that you need corrected. Go ahead and set those conflicts and deal with them. But if there's smaller things, like there were some crumbs left on the counter, or things that just are a little annoying but something you can live with, you need to know where you can let these things go, because nagging constantly is also a way to set yourself for disaster. And so if you're facing conflict and you're doing all of that and you're communicating in all these ways, then you will find that your relationship is going to be much, much better. And with that, I hope that you have a great au pair year. Go ahead and check out my channel on YouTube. I've got lots more videos about how to interview for all kinds of different specific types of people, how to write handbooks, how to deal with various situations that you're going to be put in throughout the year. Thank you.